Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. It appears that Bloomberg is competing for the fakest climate news. They published this article yesterday. The end of snow threatens to upend 76 million American lives. U.S. West, already in drought, is facing dwindling snowpacks. Disappearing snowpack is accelerating the historic drought across the western U.S. And they say that government needs to fix the climate. Now let's look at what's actually going on. Autumn and winter snow cover in North America has been increasing for the past 60 years. Last December was the snowiest on record in California. Here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, we had our snowiest day on record on March 14th of last year. Kyrie appears to be skeptical about the end of snow. It took us 3 days of shoveling to get the car out to the main street. I took this picture a few days later. This is Kyrie standing a few feet above the top of a cattle fence. Here's a picture of summer in Cheyenne. I took this on June 8th, 2020. Wolf Creek Ski Area in Colorado is near the headwaters of the Rio Grande. It's the snowiest ski resort in the state. They've had above average snowfall for 3 out of the last 4 years. Colorado had phenomenal snow cover during the 2020 ski season, but the governor shut the ski resorts down because he was worried about a virus. Before I lived in Cheyenne, I lived in Boulder, Colorado. Since 1894, Boulder has had 58 days with more than 1 foot of snow. Almost 1/4 of those heavy snow days have occurred since the year 2005. I took this picture on my front porch at Boulder at the end of November 2019. This picture was from a few days earlier, before the big snow hit. And the snow is not just coming in winter. I took this picture west of Boulder on the first full day of summer 2019. Not only is Colorado getting a lot of snow in winter, but sometimes they're also getting a lot of snow in summer. It was very cold up there that day, and the road was still closed for the winter on the first day of summer. It's not just Colorado and Wyoming that have been getting heavy snow. Squaw Valley, California had their 3rd snowiest ski season on record in 2019. And in fact, Squaw Valley's 3 snowiest ski seasons have all occurred since 2011. At 8,000 feet elevation, Squaw Valley received an incredible 810 inches of snow in 2011. And they got almost as much snow in 2017 and 2019. Arizona had their snowiest day on record during February 2019. Colorado also had a record-breaking ski season that year. In fact, it was a record-breaking ski season across the United States. Ski areas in California stayed open well into July. Arizona had their longest ski season on record, with the ski area at Flagstaff staying open into May. I took this picture east of Phoenix on New Year's Day 2019. It's pretty unusual for the Sonoran Desert to get multiple large snowstorms in 1 year. The winter of 2016-2017 was the wettest on record in California. California was suffering severe flooding problems during the spring of 2017. But things weren't always this good in California. In 1960, the Winter Olympics at Squaw Valley almost had to be canceled because there wasn't any snow a few days before the games started. California has a long history of severe droughts, and they used to be much longer and much more severe than recent droughts. The medieval drought in the Lake Tahoe Basin dropped water levels as much as 60 meters or 200 feet. In 1994, the Los Angeles Times reported that California used to get century-long droughts, and they said this has been known since 1922. The knowledge of these century-long droughts has been around for a century, and it's unfortunate the Los Angeles Times has forgotten what they knew 30 years ago. The Mercury News published this graph showing multi-century droughts of the past and the much wetter weather California's had recently. California's worst drought of modern times occurred from 1862 to 1865 and largely wiped out the cattle industry. These claims from Bloomberg were pretty embarrassing and were complete nonsense. But Bloomberg wasn't done yet embarrassing themselves. They went on by saying that the western U.S. gets little rain in the summer, even in good years. I lived almost all of my life in the Four Corners region, and July and August are the wettest months of the year. This year, the monsoon rains are even extending into California and Nevada, which is unusual. In fact, Death Valley National Park in California is closed due to flooding. Some rivers and creeks in California are running all-time record-high stream flow for the date. The key to the climate of the West was explained by the New York Times 30 years ago. They wrote this article on December 1st, 1992. Researchers have discovered that major conflagrations of fire sweeping across many mountain ranges in California and the Southwest were a common feature, occurring at least twice a decade and apparently linked to oceanic currents much further south, these so-called La Niña events that often result in droughts. Finding this synchronicity in fire events was a big surprise to us, he said. Western landscapes in pre-settlement era were very smoky places. That's exactly what's been going on for the past 2 years. There's been a La Niña occurring, which has caused droughts and fire. Bloomberg's goal is to demonize low-cost, reliable energy. They want people to believe that the dry weather over the last 2 years is caused by the burning of fossil fuels, but that has little or nothing to do with it. Many years recently have been extremely wet in the West, with record snowfall and skiing. The drought over the last 2 years is the result of an extended La Niña, which is likely to go into a third year this winter. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on scamsters like Bloomberg for the past 14 years. You can visit him, Kyrie Caesar, Toki and Upla on the web at realclimatescience.com.